What is up, players? Coach Critical here for your daily dose of ADHD. Welcome to our first video of the channel. Today we're going to show you a step-by-step guide on how to get the new class item exotic. To start off today's video, just a warning before we get into it, you must complete the Final Shape campaign and do a tier 4 overthrow in each of the 3 areas, that being the landing, the blooming, and the impasse. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. First up, we want to start by heading into the Pale Heart and fast travel to any of the 3 locations just mentioned. Once here, we're going to farm up an overthrow all the way to tier 4. To do that, we're going to complete these side quests, we'll call them, to help boost up the progress. To find any of them, just look out for these floating beacons and complete the objective. This should give you about 400 progress, and completing about 3 should do it. 2 if you open some chests up in between. Now that we have farmed the overthrow up, a boss will spawn in the area. We just want to defeat them as quick as possible. It is a really simple and straightforward fight for each of the areas that none of you should have a problem with. A chest will spawn at the back with a timer showing time until forces return. That way you know you've finished. Now that we've completed the area's overthrow, a hive wizard will spawn in a set location, and we just want to find them and kill them. Once we are done, we're going to rinse and repeat this process 2 more times in the other 2 areas. So the landing hive wizard spawns here. The blooming hive wizard spawns here. And last but not least, the impasse hive wizard spawns here. Great. Now we've finished all 3 of the area's overthrows. We can start by heading to the exotic class item mission, which is located right in between the landing and the blooming. I start by fast traveling to the blooming, and from here, we're going to head into this cave right in the back and make our way to the exotic class item mission. Fair warning, you must have another friend or player to help you do this mission, as it is farmable. However, if you are someone who doesn't have anyone to play with or doesn't like to LFG, stick around to the end of the video, as I will show you how you can farm the exotic class item solo. However, I will leave a link in the description to my Discord if you would like help with this mission, as we have plenty of friendly and experienced gamers who would love to help you out, including myself. Okay, so now we have started up the mission. If you would not like any spoilers on how to do this mission and would like to figure it out by yourself, I suggest skipping forward in the video. For those who aren't, however, this is how you complete what I believe to be a very fun puzzle-like mission. Okay, so we've spawned in. We're going to start off with each of you having a buff. So 2 buffs in total, one called Light Aligned and another called Darkness Aligned. You will both keep this buff throughout the entire mission, and you'll both have to stand on your respective plates. For the first part, you don't have to kill anything, as you can just speedrun past all these enemies to head to our first puzzle, as you want to be completing this as fast as possible. So for this first puzzle, it's very simple, very straightforward. One person is reading the symbols and the other person is shooting the symbols called out to them. Use whatever callouts you are comfortable with, but most of the community will just know them as the vow symbols. The player reading out the symbols must call them out from left to right, and the person shooting the symbols must shoot them in that exact order. Throughout these puzzles, you will be switching mechanics, so one person reads, the other person shoots, and then in the next room, it'll switch, so one person who was reading the puzzles is now shooting, and the person who was shooting the puzzles is now reading. We're going to do this 3 times for this room. Or for this puzzle, I should say, and then we are all done. For this second puzzle, it's pretty straightforward. You're just standing on light and dark plates as you crisscross your way through until you reach the end, where you kill 2 ogres and hop on the final light and dark plates. Now for the third puzzle. So there are a couple ways to do this puzzle, but I will explain the way I personally do it so you guys at least get the gist of how it's done and what you need to do. So at the back of the room, you will see these beacons from Vow in a semi-circle form. You can number them however you would like. However, I just number them from 1 to 9 left to right. So 1 being top left and 9 being top right. From here, you're just telling each other the 3 beacons that do not have a line drawn to the middle. So, for example, mine here is 3, 7, 8, and my partner's was 1, 2, 4. From here, we were able to decipher that the 3 numbers that weren't showing is 5, 6, and 9. So we're basically just going to shoot those 3 numbers after you kill the Tormentor. The Tormentor will give you a buff, and the person who did kill the Tormentor will only get the buff, and will have to shoot those 3 numbers. You're just going to rinse and repeat this 2 more times, and then we are finished. There is a 4th puzzle, but it is super simple. Again, stand on the plates as you'll make your way to the end while killing enemies to progress. At the end, you'll kill 2 ogres and 2 tormentors to finally make your way to the final encounter. So for our last encounter, the game mixes everything we've learnt all into one. So we first want to start by lowering the first subjugator's health, which will then trigger his immune state. From here, just like the first encounter, one person will be reading, the other person will be shooting. We want to kill the witches to gain the buff and read the symbols from top to bottom, then finally dealing damage again. Quick tip. One witch will only be killable with the person with light aligned. The other person will only be able to kill the dark buff witch with darkness aligned. So from here, we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to damage him down to his final bit of health, which he will then go into a bubble. It's the same here with the second subjugators. Like with the second subjugator. Again, one person reads, the other person shoots the symbols. Get him down until he goes into his little bubble. So, for this second part, we now have a full clock. So, we just number it from, 12 all the way back to 12, just like you would a normal clock. Basically, what we do here is we have one person call out the 4 lines showing until the other person has a matching line to the correct number. For example, I tell my partner the 4 numbers that have lines pointing to the middle. So for this example, mine was 11, 3, 4, and 7. He then tells me 11 because he also has a line from 11 to the middle. So we know to both shoot 11 at the same time. Do this 3 more times and both subjugators will now come out and you will be able to defeat them. Claim your reward and the mission will be complete. Now, for those who were interested in the solo farm, now that you've completed the exotic class item mission, you have a chance to find the exotic class item in any of the chests all throughout the Pale Heart. I've had cases where in an hour farm, I've found 6. Sometimes I only get 2. Sometimes I only get 1 within the hour. It is completely random. Some days you get lucky. Sometimes you don't. If you've got a partner, again, once you get this down pat, especially if you've got someone that you're doing it with regularly, you guys should be able to get them down to about 20 minutes, maybe a little below, maybe a little above, 20 minutes, which should roughly, leave you being able to do 3 an hour. So if you find yourself solo farming, you're not finding minimum 3 an hour, then you can just grab a buddy, go farm it out for a couple hours a day until you get the role that you are looking for. But if you are one of those people, as mentioned before, that you're not a big fan of LFG or you haven't got someone to play with and you just prefer to solo farm, then anywhere in the Pale Heart is really good here. The first area that I showed earlier in the video, is probably the best place, as the chests aren't that far spread out and there is a lot of them. Just bring a sniper, aim down sights, look for any of the chests that are on the field. You can put the little mod on your ghost as well to help you find any of the chests while you roam around. And that is it for today's video, our first ever video on the channel, guys. I appreciate all the support over on Twitch lately. You guys have been absolutely incredible. I'm super excited to get our first YouTube video out. It's been really fun. This is really just a test video, so I know this video has been done 100 times on YouTube. It is quite outdated. I'm sure most of you already know how to do this, but we thought we might get something out there on the channel for now, test what we can do. With that said, guys, I do appreciate the support massively. Don't forget to leave a comment of maybe what you'd like to see in the upcoming videos. Maybe what could we do better. Drop a sub as well. That'd be incredible. Link to the Twitch will be below as well. I appreciate you all, guys. This is Coach Critical here, and I will catch you guys in the next one.